Right, I was talking earlier about when I spin the cues, when you put the grain in, they're not actually round. So when you're putting your nails in, you'll actually find pieces where it actually dips in, if you like, where the grain fillers come out. But obviously the cues, over time, they're not actually what I'd call perfectly round. So I always have a first sanding process when I spin all the black off, and it tells me sort of the low spots. So here's some of the ones that I would see. So here's the end of the splices, and you see bits like this, all the black in there. I mean, it feels perfect because it's round now. But if you go up there, and I talked about the high spots, you know, you've got your arrow, but it's not down near the grain itself, so it still needs to go down a bit more. But that feels lovely and even as you get up to there. And that's the top of the cue, which you wouldn't really see as being too much affected for wear generally. So now if we spin it underneath, you start to see a lot of these spots. Just get it perfectly over the top. Right, so if we go down the bottom where your hand would rub, now you start to see a lot. So all of these, when you get to the end of the hard bits, you'll see all the way down. That's a telltale sign of an older cue for me, because all of these bits in there, where you get the hard bit and then down to the soft bit, disappears, and that's just where it's worn away with the feathering. So the choice now is, obviously I don't want to leave it like that, so you have to get a bit of a compromise. So now I would start to look at where I want to do a light sand. All this grain can go down slightly more, otherwise it makes it look like a laminated shaft. So I'd now hand sand it on each different bit and try and get a compromise between keeping it perfectly round, if you like, but with these black bits, but making it a bit more visually friendly, and also where you can't feel it so much on your hand. And that's quite a feel thing. But for those that ask what it looks like in between, that's what I would see just before I do the fine sanding. And that's why I tend to black everything out, because you don't always get that if you just rub it into the grain. You know, you'd actually rub over these harder bits into the holes, if you like, of the grain, and you wouldn't tend to see a lot of that. But it does give you a good idea as to how round it is and what you need to do.